Matilda Jean, you ready to go? We took a picture with Tilda. There you go. Okay, so I'm going to make this video as short and sweet as possible. I was actually going to make it a video, but sometimes it's easier to just go live and do it. Amy and I were talking, and she was telling me about, she was like, you really need to talk about the fact, good morning, Bandana. You really need to talk about the fact that your barn is like a little mini ecosystem. Like, you really have like this whole little alternate world inside this barn. And I was like, you know, I probably should. Like, I've never talked about it. And a lot of the reason, good morning, guys. A lot of the reason that I don't talk about the barn and like what I'm doing as far as, because I don't feel qualified to teach anybody anything. So I don't try to. I basically just tell you my life, and you can take from that what you will. So basically, I wanted to kind of go over why I do what I do, and kind of show you around the barn with the eyes of not look at my cute baby bunnies, but look at what I'm actually doing and why I'm doing it. 2 weeks ago, we went to the Homesteaders of America conference, and of course, I got to see Joel Salatin, which he is like the Homestead hero. And I had watched a lot of stuff about him because, to be honest with you, before the conference like when we first started planning last August, I didn't know who Joel Salatin was. Like, I was more excited because she was talking about somebody else that I wanted that was like a Homestead TV celebrity. Like, that was my thing. And then she was like, oh, I got Joel Salatin. I was like, yay. I don't know who that is. so that I didn't look like a big crazy person, I decided to like start looking into some of his stuff and just kind of reading up on him. And one thing led into another, and oh my Lord, I was just like, wow, that was so amazing. And so I realized that I was already somewhat kind of doing that, but that I really needed to step up my game. So this is what I currently have going on with the barn. I will show you just a couple of things that I do and why I do them. So here we go. Let's turn around and I'll show you. First thing you need to know is don't look at Pinterest and think that those cute little barn photos are real life, because working barns are messy barns. So yes, this is nothing more than a storage building that I converted. Originally, this was going to be a storage area. This I actually had a pony in. Back there was going to be goats. I had like this whole setup, and obviously I had to change all that. Some of you know the story, some of you don't. You can go back through the videos and find it. So I will show you what's going on. If you look at Rexy, you see the two babies? They actually have a hole in the fence right here, big enough that the babies can be introduced to Daddy. Daddy is super gentle. I would not suggest that with all male rabbits, but Daddy's gentle. So if you look in their bedding, you will see lots of green. The green that you're actually seeing, that is spinach. I don't put it all in one bunch. Instead, what I actually do is I throw it all over the barn. The reason that I throw it all over the barn is so that they have to forage for it. Now, I do this with spinach now, but during gardening season, I would do this with the weeds that I would pull up as well. Or I would also do it with things like, you know, the tops of carrots or parts of whatever fruit and vegetable that I was canning or cooking with at that point. I still do it with some of the vegetables that I use. Oh, quit fussing. Some of the vegetables that I use even now when I'm cooking. So this doesn't just give them the whole, let's stand in one spot and eat and then go about our normal boring lives. This actually makes them work, have to walk around, look for stuff. It's not a large space. The other thing that I've done that was very different from most people is I do colony raised rabbits. If you see, she just nipped her on the butt. They have this hierarchy that they work just as if they lived in a pack. These animals are friends. If it's cold, you'll see them snuggling. They eat together, sleep together, raise babies together, and that's something totally different than what I used to see was the norm of rabbits being raised in little wire cages that are smaller than even, and by the way, I changed his name. His name is Merlin. Even smaller than what Merlin has. His is actually a 4-foot by 3-foot cage, so he actually has a pretty decent amount of space. It's a little bit bigger than others. So this is my chicken coop, and here I have, of course, the little roost. I have nesting boxes, water, their feeder that they have flipped over. Because I can't have large chickens and my chickens can't go out, I had to come up with an ulterior way of raising my chickens. So I have only Old English game birds, and they are tiny. I don't know if you guys have ever seen these guys, but they are less than a pound. They're teeny tiny little birds, but they actually are decent egg layers. I will give them that. They are decent egg layers. So if you see them kind of like scrounging around, because they can't go outside, I also supply them with greens. I also supply them with several other things. But if you look really close, you will see that there are black gold sunflower seeds. There are different types of seeds. Sometimes I will throw corn out. I throw out different things for these guys to forage. I'll even throw out crickets, mealworms, all kinds of things. So I guess the biggest thing I wanted to tell you is several things. Number one, the reason that I do that is to keep everybody entertained because they are living in a more confined space. The other reason that I do it, sometimes I'll actually throw feed for the chickens in, or like corn, because the rabbits can eat the corn and they'll be fine. I'll throw a little bit of corn and the chickens will actually go and turn up the bedding. So then I take this bedding and I throw it out on the garden. And then whatever I get out of the garden, I give back to the animals. So I try to make everything work with everything else. So there again, that is just what I do. What you do may totally be different depending on where you are. So this is how is the floor holding up with the system? The reason that the floor is holding up under the system is because before I got the horses, the goats, anything like that, I actually went out and bought this chemical-free sealant that I had found. It was expensive, guys. It was $70 for one paint can. $70 for one paint can. But I got it and I covered the floor in 2 layers so my floor is completely sealed. When I had the pony, I was really worried that like the pee and the poop would like eat through it, and it did not. And the rabbits, I don't have any issue with them either. A lot of it because they don't have as, their pee doesn't have near as much ammonia as big like gallons worth of pony pee. So I don't have any issues with that. The chickens, I don't have any issues even with their poop. And it's only because I bought this like super, I don't even remember how I found it. I think I may have just Googled it, like a chemical-free, animal-safe wood sealant is what I had found. A lot of people use it on like the top of horse stalls to keep horses from cribbing, which is where they take their teeth and they hold it and they like suck in air. It's bad for them, and that's a good way to stop them from damaging the wood of your barn. Green Gables, my laminate needs to be replaced. I don't remember the name of it, and I don't have the can anymore. I would love to tell you, though. But I used it not only in the barn on the floor, but when we put the fencing in, you know how like you have the exposed wood on the top? So what I done is I actually painted the top of that too. And so I've not had any issues with wood rot on my fence posts either. So that worked out. So just, I guess just Google it, like a chemical-free, I think I Googled like chemical-free, animal-friendly floor sealant, wood sealant, something like that. So the reason I wanted to tell you guys all of this is for several reasons. Number one, I don't think I ever explain why I do what I do and what I'm doing it for. Because like I said, I don't feel qualified to teach you anything. But also the other reason is because I want to encourage you. I recently had someone blast me on Facebook that was actually an in-person friend, not just some random YouTube troll, and say that I was not a real homesteader because all I had was a storage building, some bunnies, and 3 chickens, which number one, I got 5 chickens, so there's that. First of all, I got 5 chickens. No, but I just want to encourage you guys, if the only thing you can do is have 2 bunnies out in a cage, or like Maria is a prime example. If all you can have is a garden box, some guinea pigs, some quail out on your little porch out in the middle of California, you do that. You do you. You do the best that you possibly can with what you got. And if that means a storage building that you convert into a little barn, do the best that you can. One day, I might have a big farm, but for right now, this is what I have. This is what we got. And so with that, I just wanted to encourage you guys, don't give up on your dreams. Don't think that just because it's something small that it's not good enough. It's always good enough. Any effort that you make toward it is good enough. So with that, somebody asked me how John was. He is in a lot of pain this morning. I have to call the doctor and get him some more or some different pain medication. So there's that. But otherwise, he's hanging in there. Again, we don't go to the surgeon until November the 6th. So Merlin, he's like wanting attention so bad. Okay, guys, I'm going to let you go. I just wanted to kind of tell you that. Amy was like, you need to do a video on it. I'll be honest, I was out here and I was doing a video, and you know what? I may have talked for like 5-6 minutes and looked at my phone and realized I wasn't even recording. And I was like, you know what? Just forget it. We're just going to go live. That way you guys can ask questions if you want to. But this is what we're doing for now. This is my own little ecosystem that I have working. Everything works for each other. What I would really love to do, this is like goals. What I'd really love to do is I would like to like put all the bunnies in one side for a little bit and maybe get like sod, or not like the expensive, let me put it out, and this is my perfect little shaped chemical grass, but like I would love to be able to grow sod and be able to put it in here. Yeah. And then put it over there and be able to rotationally graze my rabbits inside the barn. Because if you look, I have skylights. I have 1, 2, 3, I have like several skylights in this barn. So they get sun. Hey, Minuteman. So they get lots of sunlight. I can actually grow things in here, and I have before. And that's another thing too. I've actually thought about going ahead and putting tomato plants in here and letting them grow all winter, because it's like a greenhouse. It doesn't stay warm enough. That's the only thing, is I don't think... Could you stop biting my shoe? Matilda's biting my shoe. I don't know if it stays warm enough. I'm going to have to look into that. So that's a thought. But I definitely would love to be able to like rotationally graze my rabbits. I think that would be so cool. So instead of having the hay and bedding, and I think that would save me money too, because then I wouldn't have to put out bedding all the time. You know what I mean? Homesteading is a conviction, a frame of mind. You do what you can with what you have where you are. Why wait until... That's the thing. Like I told Jonathan, I was like, you know, one day I want to have the big farm. Like I do. But why not, instead of just pining away and being like... Because like when I had to give up all those chickens and, you know, take down my fence and clean out the barn. I'm sure you guys, some of you guys saw that, and I bawled cleaning out the barn. I was like, this is it. My dreams are over. But you know what? Instead of just waiting until I can have the big farm, instead what I decided to do is, you know what? Pull yourself up, put your big girl panties on, and get yourself out there and do what you can. Work with it now so that whenever I do have the big farm, I'm not overwhelmed trying to learn all the little things that I could have already figured out by now. So that's just food for thought. I'm going to go back in the house and check on my hubbies. I got to call the doctor and get him some more medicine. So love you guys. Make sure you check out the social media links down below. I think Bandana Grandma's been posting them because she's a freaking bomb mod. So love you guys, and I'll see you later. Bye.